Yeah, I'm back with another Rancid Mayo video, something that's really irritating me. It has to do with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame itself is an irritating topic, and it's something that could really have its own video, because I'm not here just to rant about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and how stupid and idiotic and pointless it is now, right now at this particular time, 2022, and how it's been for the last dozen or so years. That's its own video, and it could have a video any day of the week. But what I'm here to rant about also, this is going to be like 2 or 3 rants in one, is the Dolly Parton situation. Now, Dolly Parton, I like Dolly Parton. I have nothing against it. She's really a wonderful lady, very talented singer. I have no problem with Dolly Parton at all. This is not a rant against Dolly Parton. Hi, Dolly. Hello, Dolly. But anyway, this is about a situation that happened where the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominated Dolly Parton, who is in no way, shape, or form rock and roll at all. And Dolly Parton politely, very courteously, with her usual charm, declined and said, "Thank you very much for the honor," basically, but I'm not really rock and roll, and I feel it should be reserved for people that are more in the rock and roll vein. But thank you for thinking of me, and someday, if I ever do anything that's rock and roll, because I've always wanted to make a rock and roll album, I hope the Hall of Fame will consider me. Bravo for you, Dolly. That was the idea of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame way back in the beginning. Rock and rollers, people who had to do with rock and roll, pop rock, things like that, were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, as we all know, years and years have gone by, and everybody goes in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. It's not even the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They should just change the title to the Music Hall of Fame, because you got rappers in there, you got people in there that are crooners, all kinds of people that aren't in any way rock and roll, okay? So it was very cool of Dolly Parton to say thank you, but no thank you. It's not really appropriate, I don't think. And that's only some of the story. Now I hear, just now, another development. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame decided, oh no, we're too much in awe of Dolly Parton. You're going to stay on the nomination, Dolly. We're going to keep you there on the ballot or whatnot. How do you like that? Here's a case where a nice performer, a nice lady, decides, no thank you, I really don't want to be in there. I really don't think I'm rock and roll. And no, even though she declines, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame says, no, you're going to stay in there. And the reason that really irks me is because, do you know how many acts that are true rock and roll, true rock, true pop, are not in there? That was the idea from the very beginning when they had this. They put Elvis in there, they put the Beatles in there, they put Chuck Berry, they put Little Richard, all the people that belong in there, they put in. And now, as the decades have gone by, it's just a joke. It's a popularity contest. It's a thing to appease everybody, so nobody gets their little fifis hurt. Nobody's upset. Well, my poor feelings, nothing like that. So everybody's in there. People who don't even belong in there. It's sickening, all right? And for Dolly Parton to say no thank you, and then for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Jan Werner and all of those idiots, sitting there and saying, no, you're going to stay in there. We want you. We're in awe of you. You're terrific. We're keeping you in there whether you like it or not. Why don't you put people in there that would like to be in there and that feel they're deserving of there? Now, this is another rant topic that could be its own video. The Monkees. Hey, with the Monkees. The Monkees. That's right. Peter Tork, Mike Nesmith, Mickey Dolenz, Davy Jones, they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's a whole other argument all to itself. I can hear half of you out there saying, bravo, Mayo. And I can hear the other half of you saying, what are you, the Monkees? Oh, they were a TV act. Look, the Monkees wrote their own music, sang their own music, and made a hell of a lot of hit records, too. Okay, in the beginning, they were put together as a TV show, sure, but they were talented. Mike Nesmith, in his own right, was a genius that deserves to be in there. He practically invented MTV. Come on. This is crazy. And they were all worthy of being in there for various reasons. But I've always said, if you're going to allow everybody to get in there, every Tom, Dick, Harry, and Mary to get in there, then by all means the monkeys belong in there. And so I guess there's Dolly Parton, really, right? I mean, even Dolly Parton by today's standards belongs in there. But this is a haphazard, crazy, all directions rant about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It makes no sense. It's stupid. It was an admirable concept originally as perceived and conceived, but now it's just anything goes, anybody gets it. It's idiotic. And the main thing here is, if Dolly Parton says she doesn't want to be in there, then don't put her in there. What the heck is that? Plus, you got people that belong in there. There's plenty of other rock bands. I can't think of them all now. I see lists all the time. I should have prepared before I came on here. There's a whole list of real rock groups that are not in there, and we don't know why the hell not. What's taking so long? And rock solo artists that are in there. Even Connie Francis. You know, I like Connie Francis. I'm not saying Connie Francis is much different than Dolly Parton, but Connie Francis did a whole different array of genres, and she was one of the earliest rock and roll female singers. She did do it with stuff like a Lipstick on Your Collar and Stupid Cupid and songs like that. So she was an early rock and roller, but that's another video. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you are a joke.